Hello everybody, Shelly here, and I am falling into this trend of my favorites, and I've seen a lot of people do the top 3 to 5 in every category. And I'm not a makeup artist, nor am I a professional YouTuber, and I don't really have any right to give you my opinion because I'm not authority on this. But what I can tell you is that I'm a lady of a certain age who buys all this stuff with my own money, and I want to show you the tops that I'm reaching for in not every category, but a lot of categories. The categories that I have an opinion on, thought I would share with you the ones that I keep reaching for over and over and over again. Some of them I try to keep to 3. So I broke a little bit of the rules. Sorry. So let's get into this. I want to show you some of the things that right now, currently at this time, are my favorites. The ones that I keep reaching. The ones that if I lost them, couldn't find them, they grew legs and walk away, would I go out and buy replacements of them? These are the ones that I would buy replacements of them right now. It could be different in 6 months, but right now, it's my disclaimer. I want to start with, let's start with primers. Probably my two brands that I reach more for than anything else are going to be the Milani and the e.l.f. I happen to have the Acne Fighting Putty Primer right here from e.l.f. The Poreless Putty Primer is probably by far my favorites, but I've been reaching for this quite a bit. I haven't had any kind of breakouts after I switched my skincare. I went back to some holy grails for me that I think really helped out quite a bit, and then I started using this, and knock on wood, I have not had any kind of weird blemishes, like very few of anything at all. So I'm convinced that this is good. Does it fill the pores as much as the other stuff? No, it doesn't, but it's pretty darn good. Okay, another good sort of dupe to the pore filling is this Milani one. Now I kind of go back and forth between these 2 Milani ones lately. One of them is an SPF. This is a SPF BFF, and it's a SPF 30 primer. It is very, to me, very skincare sunblocky kind of primer. It feels like you're putting sunblock on your face. Do I layer it under makeup? Yeah, and I've been really using it kind of up underneath my eyes a little bit more, along my nose, places that I get a little bit more sun, my forehead. But this one right here, this No Pore Zone Milani primer, these are drugstore, right? These are not expensive. This one's fantastic. This one I really like. It's a mattifying primer. It says lily and bamboo extracts. I don't know what's in this, but if you're looking for more of a gel type primer versus like the cream, like the putty primer, this is great. I'm very pleased with it. And then I also have 2 NYX primers that I've been reaching for quite a lot lately. This is the Marshmallow Primer. It smells really good. It feels more like skincare. It's when I'm feeling like I need a little bit more moisturizer, like maybe I did my skincare and it's been hours and I probably ought to put a little bit more moisturizing type properties before I lay down my makeup, I'll reach for this one. Otherwise, if I want flawless makeup, I've been using this Honey Do Me Up primer, and it has like a little spatula. These both smell good, I think. Yeah, this one maybe doesn't, this doesn't smell like honey. I don't know why I thought this, but it has a fresh scent to it. But I will lay this down all over my face before going in with my foundation if I want it to last for a really long time. And I'm not upset by these. The Marshmallow one, I think I wasn't sure if I was gonna love it, and that now I find myself using it quite a bit. The Too Faced Poreless Primer, I really like this as well. This one goes right up there with the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer and the Milani No Pore Zone. I only have a couple, I'm not even gonna call them eyelid primers, but eye area products that I've been reaching for over and over and over again. First one is this Juvia's Place one. I've got it on today. So I think I read online that said that there's supposed to be no oil in here, but when I use this, if I don't mix it really well, I put a little bit on the back of my hand, it's oil. And then the product comes out, and then I gotta sit there and mix it all together. But once I do that and get it on my lids, I actually am really enjoying it. I feel like it does do its job, which is give me a smooth foundation for the eyeshadow. I have 0 issues with that, with this one at all. I do have it in shade 2. It is not a super opaque shade. If I just put some on and then kind of pat it into place, or even take a sponge or a brush and sort of go over it. I don't get like that density of color, but it does give me a good foundation for my eyeshadow, and I think that's kind of the whole point here. I have been really enjoying this Milani Supercharged Under Eye Tint. I didn't use it today, I probably should have. I've been using this under my eyelids to kind of help with some of the, darker circles, and I've actually been really enjoying it. This one's peach. Shade 120. Yeah, shade 120 peach. I can recommend these. Again, these aren't super expensive products. This one maybe a little bit more. This is the Stila Balm Tinted Moisturizer Skin Balm. This is in shade 4.0, and I use this not as a foundation, but I go all the way up under my eyes. And the reason why is the consistency is very balm-like. It's very much a putty, sorry, I've got other makeup here, but it is very much like a putty type balmy moisturizing. It doesn't give a ton of coverage, but just enough. And I feel like when I run it all the way up underneath my eyes, they don't get as crepey as other under eye primers, other under eye type products. Now, I do feel like if you have really dark circles, this might not give you enough coverage. But if you're a lady of a certain age who would rather not have the crepey, crappy under eye crinkles and wrinkles, and you're okay with maybe not being so saturated under your eyes, that's one I recommend. I reach for that all the time. Okay, let's talk concealers. Just because I tend to be someone who puts on concealer and dot it where I need to, and then dot on my foundation, and then kind of just blur them all together like I did today. So yay, I only kept 3 in this category. I do really like the Dose of Colors Meet Your Hue concealer. I also really like I think this is the Pat McGrath one. Yeah, I got a Pat McGrath one, I got a Dose of Colors, and then this e.l.f. It's an HD lifting concealer. Very much different price points. It just depends on what the area is that I'm trying to cover. The e.l.f. HD lifting I actually will take up underneath my eyes. I feel like it's a little thinner of a formula, not quite as, it's not dehydrating at all. I really like it. And then if I need something that's maybe a little bit more, like I'm covering up something that I just really don't want to peek through, I'll use the Dose of Colors or the Pat McGrath one. But those are the ones that I really, really reach for. Foundations. I do have 3 in this category as well. Pat McGrath Labs, hands down, my favorite. When I want to feel beautiful and flawless and a shade that actually I think does what it's supposed to do, the Pat McGrath Skin Fetish. Absolutely, absolutely. Now, if I want to do something that's a little bit more natural looking, I've been really liking the Fenty Droppies. Is that what it's called? Eavesdrop. The Fenty Eavesdrop. I have it on today. Absolutely love it. It doesn't feel heavy and cakey. It feels like I can go outside in the sun and I'm not going to melt off, and I worry about that sometimes with foundations. Another one that when I want to feel a little bit more perfected, the Fenty Beauty foundation. What do they call this? The Fenty Beauty Pro Filter. I guess I should turn around this way. The Fenty Beauty Pro Filter foundation. I can do this either way. I can either go on and have it be very much give me a blank canvas, covering up every single imperfection and really neutralizing everything, or I can dot on a little bit and buff it really in, and it just sort of smooths out any kind of skin tone. I've been reaching for this more and more lately. I don't know why I have 2 Fenties in here, but those are just the ones that I've been reaching for, which was the whole point of this. And then one more. Sorry, I guess I have 4. The Urban Decay. This is the Hydromaniac, Stay Naked Hydromaniac Tinted Glow Hydrator. If I feel like I have a really good skin day, I'll use this, and not much else. It feels like a tinted skincare, but it has good coverage, but not horrible coverage. I don't know how to describe it. This has replaced my e.l.f. Serum Foundation, this one, as my like go-to everyday, just getting up in the morning, need something, need to put some makeup on. That's what I reach for. 3 of the eyebrow products that I reach for consistently. One of them is the Benefit Precisely My Brow Pencil. I do like the Goof Proof one as well. Like I'll use both of these intermittently, but this one and the next one are the most consistent. But the Precisely My Brow Pencil is a very fine tipped, and it does have a spoolie on one end, and I like that fine tip. I've been using that a little bit more lately, and just kind of filling up a little bit here, and then a little bit back here, and then I brush it through, and it works very well. It's very similar to me to the Hourglass one too. This is another precision point brow product. It helps me just draw on some without going very thick and full. And then I do really like the Winky Lux one. Now the Winky Lux one is a fatter tip. It's very similar to me to the Goof Proof. In fact, the tips I would say are almost identical. You're not gonna be able to see these. But if I put these 2 side by side, they're almost interchangeable, and they both give a very, very quick, easy eyebrow application. You just have to make sure you just don't go too thick and too harsh with them. Framing, not drawing attention. Let's talk contour and bronzer next. The one that I've been using more than anything else is the Charlotte Tilbury Contour Wand. This is fantastic. I don't know why this took me so long to get to, but I really like it. Now, if it's too rich for you, because it is an expensive luxury item, the e.l.f. putty bronzers that they came out with this summer, absolutely, absolutely love these. Continue to use them. They're very similar to the Jaclyn Cosmetics one as well. I just grabbed 2 of each shade right here, but I feel like you get a lot more quantity in the Jaclyn one, and the price accordingly goes up. But to me, the experience of using them is both very, very similar. So I think you can go either one. If I'm going to go a little bit more traditional, my favorite bronzer slash, because I contour with it too, I probably should have used it today. I did use the Charlotte Tilbury today in case you're curious, is the Too Faced Chocolate Gold Soleil. Mine even still smells a little bit like chocolate. This is the best powder bronzer I've ever used. I love it. But I'll use this to contour. I use it to warm up the skin if I've gone in too light with something. I use it to give me some cheekbones when I'm feeling like I need cheekbones. This, I love. Who knew? I had no idea. I didn't know where I was going when I put these together, just so you know. I didn't have like preconceived notions of what I wanted to use. Blushes. Let's go to blush. I have been using more and more cream blushes, creams and liquid blushes lately. Hard for me to choose which makeups I like because I just love makeup. But if I had to narrow it down right now, I'm going to throw out some categories here. So the first ones I can say, these NYX Sweet Cheeks liquids, phenomenal. Love these. These are probably, out of all the drugstore versions, these are going to be my absolute #1 favorite. Highly recommend. I have it in 3 different shades, and I will use 2 of these at a time. Like, I'll always use this one as kind of my neutral, almost like a contour type shade, and then depending on if I'm going more peach or more pink, I've got my 2 options right there. They're very similar. I'm going to flip it to the opposite side of the spectrum here. Even though these are not horribly expensive, by all things Natasha Denona, I do actually really like these. And what I like about these is that they are a serum blush, so they are more emollient. They feel like tinted skincare. I can tell you the one thing about these, I feel like I have to build them up if I want to build them to where I need to be. Whereas the NYX, they go on and I buff around the edges a little bit, maybe pat them into place, and they perform where I need them to be. Natasha and I feel like I have to build them up a little bit, but I love the way my skin looks afterward. It feels very hydrated and juicy. It is a similar experience to the Flower Beauty. These are the, what are they called? Blush bombs. I grabbed 2 of them because these are the 2 that I use most frequently. One of them is a little bit more of a corally color. One of them is more of a tan color. And I did a dupe video on these, comparing these to the Natasha Denona ones, and I think that actually performed very well. I think this is a similar consistency to the Natasha Denona ones because it's more of a serum blush. Love it. Going back over to the high end, the Glowgasm Beauty Light Wand is kind of a blush topper, kind of a shimmery. I have this one in Pink Gasm, and this is one that's hard to find, so I feel a little bad even throwing it in here. It is an absolute beautiful cheek product. I've got all of them on right now. I do have this blush on right now. This is a cream blush from Charlotte Tilbury. This is in shade, it says Lip and Cheek Glow, and this is Color of Dreams is what this shade is. Now, in the pan, it looks like it would be too dark and too cool, but on the skin, I think it looks actually really, really pretty. It is a similar consistency to the e.l.f. putty blushes, though. I just grabbed 2 of them. I think I've got a whole collection of these, and I really like them. I've got a pink one and a more of a corally colored one. There's supposed to be a label on the side telling me what shades they are, and I'm sorry I can't tell you what shade these are. I know that there is a label on the side. The label on the side just kind of tells you the brand and where it was made and stuff. It doesn't actually seem to have the name of the shade on it. I don't know if these ever did. I wouldn't have peeled them off. It's bad product design. They should have the names on the bottom of it, and I don't know why they didn't. That would be my only complaint about these. Otherwise, these are fantastic. Dot them on with a brush, fingers, sponge if you want to go a little bit more sheer. I got to throw out the traditional blushes though that I've been reaching for. Pat McGrath launched her first blush line and I love it. I just happened to grab Nude Venus. This is just one of them. I remember, I don't know, I don't think I got all of them. I got a lot of them. I got like 4 or 5 of them. You don't need all of them. You pick one and that's perfectly fine. And this one I reach for, and I reach for all of these. And when I want a powder blush, well, sometimes what I'll do is if I really want my makeup to last a long time, I'll do the cream or the putty or the serum blush first, and then I'll tap this on top of it, and really just kind of sets and melds and just is a beautiful consistency. And I love the way my skin looks when I use that one. Another product, you guys, controversy or not, but the Jaclyn Cosmetics blush and bronzer duos. These are fantastic. I have several of these. I think there's one that I don't use because it's actually too dark for my skin tone. But out of the other, I think I probably have 3 other ones. Again, you don't need all of these. Don't go out and buy a collection of these. But pick one and then replace your bronzers and your blush with one of these if you're more of a traditionalist and you like the powder blushes. These I feel like don't give me a huge amount of shimmer. They just really seem to be just like a beautiful cheek product. My one complaint is this is such a big bulky component, and this raised J on it, while it's beautiful, you can't stack them. You got to kind of like sit them in something. They don't really stack, otherwise they just kind of flop all over the place. I don't recommend that. I did not try her cream stick blushes or her blush palette, the cream blush palette. I didn't try those ones. I feel like I have enough blush products. I didn't want to just buy it to buy it. I did buy her loose blushes, and they're spectacular. I bought 2 of them, and I use those all the time. I just felt like I had enough in the categories, and I don't know why I just left it on the other thing. Speaking of having too much in a category, I have too many face powders that I couldn't choose. All of these I reach for. Is there another one up here? Yeah, all of these I reach for different reasons. A couple of them I'll reach for just to kind of set my makeup, mattify the makeup. If I've gone too shiny, there's too much of a glow going on, I need to tone that down. This is probably the most recent to the collection, but this is the Beauty Bakery Flour one. This makes a stinking mess everywhere. You open this up and expect it's like you open up a bag of flour, and I'm getting it all over myself right now. It is so ridiculously finely milled, and it is a beautiful, beautiful skin product. I don't know how else to describe it, but this has become, other than the mess it makes, that has become one of my most reached for products. It is very similar to me to the ColourPop. This is their no filter setting powder in translucent, maybe not quite as finely milled, but I love the way my skin looks after I use this. As is the Too Faced Born This Way powder. This one is another one, and I feel like you get so much product in here. It's hard to anticipate how quickly you're going to go through this because there is so much. Do I love it? I do. I also love the Pat McGrath Labs powder. And these are not all of the powders I have. I literally have 35 to 40 face powders, but these are the ones that it doesn't matter. I can grab these and put them on, and I absolutely know my makeup is going to perform like I want to. So this is the Pat McGrath one. It's very similar to the other 2, or the other 3 now. Yeah, so that's 4. Sorry, you guys. The Too Faced Peach Perfect Powder. I've got this one on today. This one smells delightful, mattifying. It's just a fantastic face powder. I'm sorry, I don't have any other words to describe to you how beautiful it is. Okay, I have 3 more of a finishing powder, so they're a little bit more shimmery perhaps than the mattifying setting powders. The Hourglass one. This is the Hourglass Veil. I have the Fenty Beauty, is this the Pro Filter? Yeah, the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter, and then the Jaclyn Cosmetics. I've got this in the shade Brilliant. You guys, all of these give you a beautiful lit from within glow. You just, for me, I have to be careful I don't get it into too much texture, because then I feel that sometimes it can draw attention to that. But if I've set with another mattifying powder first and then go in strategically on the outsides of my face and use one of those finishing powders, then I'm thrilled. Honorable mention is this Dior one. I know a lot of people are like, how can that be an honorable mention? The Dior one is just relatively new, and I gotta be honest, when I use it, it's not hard panned, but I feel like I don't see the result as much. I feel like it just blends in everything, and I don't know if it would do that with just the brush that I'm using, or if it's doing it because of the powder. I know that's a horrible way of describing it, but that's what I got right now. Eyeshadow products. Here's what I've been reaching consistently when I don't want to have to think about it, when I just want the makeup to perform, and I'm either in a rush or I don't want to be bothered by thinking about makeup. The ABH Norvina, this is the Pro 5, right? Yeah, Pro Pigment Palette Volume 5. This is a beautiful palette, and I know you get distracted by the purples and you think, I don't wear purples, but the rest of the neutrals in here are spectacular. This to me is my #1 favorite palette these days, and that's saying a lot. My #2 favorite palette would be the Sigma Quarter Rosa. Very, very different color story. I mean, you got some kind of berry colors in here, but the peachy color, the warm shades in here, this spectacular. Go either way. Either way. Maybe the Norvina, my dog. The Norvina, slightly more up. Not as many shades in the Sigma. But because I love the Sigma so much, I couldn't decide between the ambiance and the warm neutrals. I threw both of them in here because both of these are giving me everything I need lately. Neutral, 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 bronzy, warm, gold in the ambiance, and then the warm neutrals gives me a little bit more of a berry color, maybe more cool tone browns. This green is just gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. I love those. I did a video recently on the Mob Beauty modular, ethical, feel good, fantastic brand, relatively new brand. I have 2 of these face palettes and I love these. The cream blushes in here, the clay blush, fantastic. This particular one, so this one is the first one that I got, and I use this for a video already. It has 4 shadows, a bronzer, a clay blush, a highlighter, and a powder blush. Now I went back and bought a second one because I had a sale, and I filled it up with 8 eyeshadows, a powder blush, and the cream blush, that clay blush and a powder blush. They're very, very similar in shades. They layer beautifully together, and I don't have any problems with the clay consistency, either picking up my foundation or smearing it or moving it or anything like that. And I was just having so much fun playing with these. I ended up getting more mattes. As you said, I've got a couple transition shades and then some darker shades, and I picked up 2 of the shimmers because I already had 2/3 of the shimmers in this one right here. So I've got a bronze, a green, and a kind of a taupe one with 1 matte. And when I want to think, these are just such easy ones. So you guys, I have only 2 other categories to share with you. I know this is a ridiculously long video. I'm glad I didn't give you every category. I mean, what did I miss? I'm going to show you 2 more categories, and I'll tell you what I didn't include in here. Setting sprays. These are the 3 that I've been reaching for. The Milani Fruit Fetish one, used it today, love it. This one from e.l.f. x Jen Atkin, this surprised the holy heck out of me. This does not feel like drugstore inexpensive. The mist on this is so fine and so refreshing. This one's a little bit more aggressive. This one is absolute perfection. This to me feels like the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist, which I love as an aerosol, but this one is a pump, not an aerosol, clearly. I guess I should say that the Morphe Continuum Mist is one of my all-time favorites, as is the Hourglass Veil. These are both very, 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 very similar, and I really like them. My one last sort of honorable mention is the Kula, and this is because it's an SPF 30. Yeah, SPF FPS 30. And if I know I'm going to be outside, I will go back over my makeup with this. All right, you guys, we're winding down to it. My last category that I'm sharing with you, my top ones are going to be mascara. Pat McGrath Labs, love, love, love. The Thrive Cosmetics, fantastic mascara. I know that when I haven't been using this and I've been testing out other mascaras, if I want to go back and feel like myself again, I use the Thrive Cosmetics one. These 2 are relatively interchangeable for me. One of them is the Better Than Sex from Too Faced. The other one is the Maybelline Sky High. The components look similar to me. They perform very similar. I feel like the Too Faced one feels a little bit more weighty, whereas the Maybelline feels a little more lightweight. I don't know if that matters to you, but sometimes the experience, how you feel about using the product, makes a difference. And then kind of an honorable mention, this LA Girl Volumatic one. I tried 2 different mascaras on my LA Girl video, and this is the one that I continuously reach for. I just really, really like this mascara. Highly recommend. I don't think you can go any wrong with it. It really performed as well for me as some of the higher ones. You guys may not agree with everything I've shared with you today, and I respect that. I am completely fine with you not agreeing or having other ones that you like more. I think there are ones that I've shared with you guys in the past that I really love. These e.l.f. contour ones, man, I have a whole bunch of like cream products here on my desk. I completely forgot about that. There's too many. There's too many products I absolutely love. I'm sorry. But These are the ones that I've been reaching for the most recently, and that's what I wanted to share with you guys. I hope this was somewhat interesting. I don't know how these stack up to, you know, what other people are saying are their kind of holy grails, their favorites, they're what they're reaching for right now. There's so many other products I want to use. I just don't use them as much as I have been these. And it's not that I don't feel like I'm in a rut. I feel like I'm enjoying so much. Why would I choose something else? All right, you guys, that's it for today's video. I know that the style of video has been done ad nauseum. I don't remember the name of the influencer who started it, but I think that probably every other influencer, every other beauty guru, every other beauty YouTube channel out there has done something similar to it. I have not watched all of them. I saw it and I'm like, how do you choose your favorite? It's like your favorite child. How do you choose your favorite? So I did have a request that I'll work on for you guys of my favorite palettes in every category. So my favorite work palettes, my favorite date night palettes, my favorite fun weekend palettes, my favorite palettes with glasses. So I'm gonna work on that, because that's gonna be another tough one, because there's so many good ones out there. I love makeup. All right, you guys, I hope you guys are doing really well. Tell me what you guys want to see, if this type of video is interesting to you. If you're looking for recommendations as a lady of a certain age who doesn't have a PhD in cosmetology, and I don't, if that's even such a thing, and I am not professionally trained or employed in the cosmetics industry. But if there's stuff that you guys want to see, dupes, color stories, that type of thing, anything interests you, leave me a comment down below. I hope you guys are doing well. Feel free to follow me over on Instagram at Shelly Sinani, and until my next video, bye for now.